So now that I've cleared the air of any misconceptions to Facebook marketing, let's take a closer look at business objectives and its influence on content promotion. So the RACE model. It says that we have reach, act, convert, and engage. Content promotion is the process of distributing content to a specific audience. So which boxes does content promotion tick within this RACE model that we talk about? So reach, yes. Act, yes. Convert, definitely yes. And engage, yes. With regards to engage, it's a little bit trickier because you're looking at customer advocacy. So it's more of like a post-lead or post-sale conversation you have with them. But the gist of it is content promotion affects all four objectives within the RACE model. Okay, so let's start with reach. Naturally, to reach a new audience, promotion and placing ads on Google AdWords platform, or perhaps using Facebook Ad Manager, is key for this to be successful. Knowing your customers' interests is important to reach them on social platforms, and you need to align your content to their interest. This content can't be lead focused though, within a reach framework obviously. It needs to be educational and have value for the user. It needs to build a brand and complement your business objective, which is reach. The content promotion's high-level KPI should be centered around clickability and shareability. However, definitely weighted more on the shareability side, as that speaks to trust and brand building. Someone who is willing to share your content to their friends has most likely put trust in your brand and has got their stamp of approval because they're willing to share it with their friends. And then we go on to ACT. So how does ACT get influenced by content promotion? ACT is the interactions happening on your website that you're tracking and measuring. So content promotion can drive these metrics up or down depending on the traffic that you're getting. So how does traffic get to your website? It's through a click from a piece of content, be it an email, a paid ad, or promoted posts in social media. So going back to our performance formula, which is the clickability times shareability times distribution, clickability here is the most important. If clicks are low, your website interactions will correlate to this. So you need to track clicks from the promoted piece of content and measure them against interactions on the website. If clicks are high, but interactions are low, then there's a breakage somewhere within the campaign. So at this point, you need to ask yourself the following questions. And probably a good idea to always ask yourself these questions anyways. Are we targeting the right audience? Is the promoted content messaging in line with the landing page messaging you're sending the users to? So with regards to messaging, it can be anything from the blurb in the Facebook post, the ad copy, or even the image if you're using one. Then the next question, are there interactions that you're tracking and measuring clearly visible on the landing page? So, are they above the fold? Are they in line with the copy, the buttons, or the size, the color, etc., etc.? Have you set up the tracking codes correctly? And then finally, if there are any problems with the above mentioned questions that I have, how do we fix this? It's really important you start to pull the following skill sets closer together within a team environment. So you have the strategist, the one who oversees the business objectives, the content team, the person or team who oversees the messaging and the copy. Then you have the ad team, who should be a mix of creative and analytical people. And then finally, design and development. If these stakeholders aren't in line, massive inefficiencies will be created. And it's a common problem we see in the digital industry, which is often driven by client, unfortunately. Because they're trying to save costs, which is understandable, but by outsourcing multiple partners, obviously these partners are trying to compete against each other in price and value. So yes, initially client might be getting a cheaper service by using multiple partners, but the inefficiencies that are brought upon this through miscommunication, misalignment in business objectives, which ultimately then results in a poor performing campaign, which then in the long term costs the business. So I know that's a utopia, perfect world scenario that everyone is working on the same page or in the same team, even if you've got external suppliers, make sure that you're having continuous meetings with all in the same room, all in alignment with the same business objectives, just to improve that communication. Okay, so now let's move on to convert. Now with convert, we're looking right at the bottom of the funnel, the sale, which could either be a transaction on an e-commerce website or an offline sale. E-commerce tracking is obviously a lot easier to track back to the source of the lead. At WebGrowth, we use a mix between Google Analytics, e-commerce tracking, and HubSpot to manage this process. At a macro level, we want to see which traffic channels are driving sales, and then at a micro level, we want to see which campaigns or pieces of content that are driving sales. We also want to look at how traffic channels are assisting in sales using Google Analytics. So if your sales are happening offline, but you are capturing leads, or at least the lead, on your website, then you can use assisted conversion paths to track this performance. At an individual customer level, we use the email address within HubSpot as a unique identifier, because obviously all data then gets mapped to that email address. And then once the sale has been won, HubSpot then uses the data to start mapping back to the lead source. So obviously the disclaimer here is that HubSpot has a number of packages, and that, what I've just spoken about, is available in Enterprise, the Enterprise package, which has got quite a big price tag to it. But this is how I'd suggest you start integrating web leads and offline sales at an enterprise level. The lead comes in via the web, the salesperson then manages communication activities within HubSpot, with the ultimate goal of making the sale, which is then captured in HubSpot by that salesperson. And then you leave HubSpot to do all the fancy reporting. So once you've closed this tracking loop between lead and sale, then that's where you can start identifying the performance of individual content pieces. And we go into a little bit more detail around that in week 8. So in landing this video, it's important to understand your business objective, as that it'll directly affect the type of content you're producing. If, for example, your business objective is reach, then don't go and try push sales in Facebook and then still trying to broaden your audience. So as you can imagine, you've got a very broad audience trying to go for the lead. That's where it becomes really expensive, because obviously you don't have a niche audience who are specifically interested in your topic, in your product. So naturally, your reach KPIs are very different to your act and convert KPIs. This is why it's so important to lead with objectives and KPIs, and then from there only develop the strategy and then execute. So as you continue our journey along with WebGrowth, you will hopefully improve your knowledge of KPIs. It's possibly a big reason why so many people race ahead with strategy and then execute, but don't fully understand the types of KPIs needed to pull off a successful campaign.